Hello there, and welcome to another TLDR video. The coronavirus is continuing to rage on, affecting every country in the world in one shape or another, some more than others. A number of countries have been praised for their immediate responses and tackling of the virus, including South Korea, which we've already done a video on over on the UK channel. And in Europe, Germany has received a lot of praise, with news organisations from across the political spectrum labelling it a model for others. However, a country that's done quite well but not got the same level of attention is Portugal, a nation that's done well to prevent the virus's spread, especially when compared to their neighbour, Spain. So let's take a look at what they got right and how they did it. Before we dive into it, you might already know, but we have a whole bunch of enamel pin badges based on our countries with shoes designs. And, well, we have a lot of them, covering most EU countries. And considering the topic of today's video, we've even got a Portuguese and Spanish badge. Check out all of these designs and a bunch of other stuff in our store. It's linked down below. Home to over 10 million people, Portugal's tackling of the coronavirus reveals some stark contrasts to that of its Iberian neighbour, Spain, home to 47 million. At the time of writing, according to the official government websites, Portugal had 25,000 confirmed cases, with 989 people sadly having lost their lives, a mortality rate of around 3.9%. Compare this to Spain, who have had 213,435 confirmed cases and 24,483 fatalities, and therefore a mortality rate almost 3 times higher, at 11.5%. Even comparing further afield, Portugal appears to be the odd one out in Europe. The UK stands at about 15.8%, and France at 15%. Germany, on the other hand, is at about 3.3%. Although we have to bear in mind that different countries are testing and importantly recording figures differently, notably the UK has only just gone down the route of extensive community testing, pushing up the headline mortality rate until the results begin to filter through. Regardless, Portugal has still been successful. Their apparent success at containing the spread of the virus and limiting death comes in the light of a crippled health system and an ageing population. While Germany has 29.2 critical care beds per 100,000 people, Italy has 12.5, France has 11.6, Spain has 9.7, and the UK has 6.6. But Portugal is at the back of the European pack, with only 4.2 beds per 100,000 people. On top of this, they also have one of the oldest populations. According to Eurostat, the statistical office of the European Union, Portugal has the third largest population of people over the age of 65, at 21%, beaten only by Greece at 22% and Italy at 22.8%, as well as having the fourth largest over 80s population, behind Germany, Greece and Italy. And when it comes to Portugal's autonomous regions, notably the Azores and Madeira, it appears that they're faring quite well too, as the Azores only have 127 confirmed cases, with 12 deaths, and in Madeira there are 86 cases and no deaths. So how did Portugal manage it? With a high elderly population and a struggling healthcare sector, how did they manage to limit the spread of the coronavirus? Well, it all comes down to speed, and partially luck. Portugal's first confirmed case of COVID-19 came on the 2nd of March, a considerable time after nearby Spain and Italy, giving them a profound amount of time to prepare and mobilise. In actual fact, Portugal was the last country in Europe to record a case of the virus. Within 2 weeks, all schools were shut, and 2 days later, on the 18th, a state of emergency was declared, when it only had 448 cases, and a mere 2 days after the first reported death. This state of emergency permitted extraordinary measures for the mandatory confinement of citizens at home and restrictions on movement, with the Prime Minister stating that this set of rules seeks to contribute the best possible way to contain the pandemic and with less impact on people's lives. In effect, a lockdown. However, not the most severe of lockdowns, with people still being able to go out to buy food, look for employment, enjoy the outdoors, visit financial institutions, and other justified necessities. On the 22nd, the European Commission approved a €3 billion Portuguese grant scheme for small and medium-sized enterprises, supporting tourism, restaurants, manufacturing, and travel agencies. In an additional step, The government also granted all migrants and asylum seekers temporary residency until the 1st of July, with a spokesman for the Ministry of International Affairs stating, "People should not be deprived of their rights to health and public service, just because their application has not yet been processed. In these exceptional times, the rights of migrants must be guaranteed." Portugal's centralised health system and the backing of opposition party allowed the government to take action proactively. The leader of the opposition party, PSD, has rallied behind the Prime Minister and the government, affirming that he's working with the Portuguese government in the name of Portugal, because, according to him, a responsible opposition leader must not create difficulties for the government in order not to create difficulties for the country. And while political divisions are deepening across the border in Spain, Astrid Barrio, a professor of politics at the University of Valencia, spoke to the Financial Times, saying that in Spain, instead of closing ranks and looking for a maximum possible consensus, the politicians are opting for a bitter fight. "I'm not sure citizens are going to appreciate that when the obvious priority is the health emergency." It's also clear that people are making sacrifices in Portugal, with the Minister of Internal Affairs praising the unsurpassed civic spirit of the Portuguese people, 81% of whom identify as Catholic, for staying at home during the Easter period, a period where family gatherings and festivals are extremely common. This unsurpassed public spirit is something replicated in a survey conducted by the Catholic University of Portugal for Publico and RTP, the national broadcaster, where 14% of Portuguese people said that they hadn't left their home in the last 2 weeks, 6% less than a week ago, and 25% just once a week, with the vast majority, 62%, saying they'd only left the house to buy essentials, 23% for work, 11% to go to the pharmacy, and 6% support family members. So it's clear that the Portuguese people are taking this crisis very seriously. However, the lockdown and fast response hasn't been without its costs. The Portuguese finance minister and president of the influential Eurogroup estimated that every month of lockdown will shrink the economy by 6%, with a further estimate that it could take up to 2 years to fully recover economically. For a country still reeling from the impacts of the global financial crisis and knock-on European debt crisis, it may be a difficult 2 years. So what do you think? Was Portugal lucky or proactive? And how do you think the rest of Europe should have responded to the crisis? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And you can also get involved over on Discord. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more updates on the coronavirus and other European issues, and hit the bell icon to be notified every time we release a video. You can also find more from us across all social networks, simply by searching for TLDR News. Special thanks to our Patreon backers who make videos like this one possible.